Hi, my name is Nancy Goldstein. I am with the Solo and Small Firm section. My panel and I will be doing a program today about how many hats a lawyer must wear in practicing in a solo or small firm. So we thought we'd give you a little summary of the things we're going to cover today. I happen to be a real property lawyer. I'm located in Westlake Village, California, and I am a sole practitioner. I have been for many years. Before that, I actually was with a small firm briefly, and I also had a partner for a little while. Becoming a sole practitioner is a really difficult decision. In order to make that decision, you have to look at a lot of different factors because sole practitioners and small firm attorneys wear many, many different hats. What does that mean? That means that you not only have to practice law and follow all the rules for lawyers, you also have to be an accounts manager, you have to be a technician, you have to know all the different things that lawyers do to run a business. And that can be very, very complicated. So our program is going to talk about all the different factors and what you need to be concerned about. So let me have my panel introduce themselves.
My name's Robert Klein. I'm a lawyer. That's why I'm here. My practice area is personal injury, plaintiff personal injury. I practice in Los Angeles. I've been a solo for over 25 years now. I echo what Nancy said. It's the idea that you're the first person in the morning and the last person out at the end of the day. You load the copy machine, you fill the coffee maker, you drop the mail in the post office. You may have staff, but you're managing your staff, and you have to make sure all of those things are being done. There's many things in compliance you have to take care of, and you have to get the work done as well as a lawyer. I think it's great because it gives you a lot of opportunity for freedom. I like to exercise, so in the middle of the day I may go out for a run or may go for a swim. All things I like to do, and being a sole practitioner gives me those opportunities. The best thing about being a solo, you get to choose the cases you work on and the clients that you have. And that gives you a great feeling at the end of the day. And Jeremy, also on our panel.
What are we here for again? What is it?
We wear many hats as solo practitioners.
Okay, all right. So my name is Jeremy Evans. I run a practice in Los Angeles called California Sports Lawyer. I deal in entertainment, media, and sports law, specifically contracts, intellectual property. Honored to be here with my colleagues, Nancy and Robbie. So as Nancy mentioned, very difficult to run your own practice. But something that I love to do. I love the freedom. Robbie mentioned first person in, last person to leave. I'm more like first person in, first person to leave. But we do have a lot of fun with it. You get to choose your clients, all that. I mean, the difficulty, I think, is in the peaks and valleys. Dealing with, maybe 1 month you have a ton of revenue coming in, and then maybe for the next 6 months you don't have anything coming in. So it's definitely about managing your business, managing your practice. But you also get to choose your own brand, you get to choose your own clients, you get to choose to go to conferences when you feel like, appear on camera like this. So all good things.
Yeah, I think the toughest part is the idea that you're not only a lawyer, but you're a businessman as well. And law school teaches us how to be lawyers, but it doesn't teach us how to be business people. And that's the hard part to learn. And you have colleagues, you have friends, make sure you contact them, reach out to them, talk to them, because most other lawyers are willing to help solos. I know we are all on the solo and small firm section, which means we have practices that are 5 lawyers or fewer, and we're delighted to help other people through the process. So you are alone as a solo, or you work in a small firm, but you're not alone as a lawyer or a businessman. And that's really important to keep in mind.
Right. We try to emphasize, life balance. There are a lot of things that need to be done when you're in a solo or small firm. When you're in a larger firm, you have your colleagues there who you can rely on for support in various areas. And you also have colleagues there to recognize if you're in trouble. And I don't mean in trouble legally, I mean in trouble personally, in terms of your workload, for example, or in terms of other things that may be concerning. And it's very important, if you're going to be out on your own, that you know that there are networks out there that you need to join. So I mean, whether it's a billing issue or whether it's a how do you get customer issue or all of those things, there are a lot of groups out there, including the solo and small firm section, that can connect you to other lawyers with either similar practices or just people who are looking to reach out to you for help. You know, when we conclude our program, we're going to talk a little bit about when, you know, when do you need, when are you taking on too many hats? When have you piled those hats so high that you can't handle it anymore, and what do you do about it? And there are support systems out there that are very important.
Yeah, and you know, it's funny, on that point, I think it's interesting because in my practice especially, you generally have your bread and butter. You know, for most lawyers, it's personal injury or it's wills and trust or something like that where you sort of have your bread and butter. But in terms of if you have like a niche practice, sometimes you have to have something that complements that. And so like for me with entertainment and sports, there's not a ton of entertainers or sports folks running around saying, represent me, especially the quality ones, the ones that could actually, you can make a living off of. And so in that sense, I've always had to do additional things. So for example, I'll do adjunct teaching. I'll do things to where you can bring in additional revenue. And honestly, as kind of Robbie was talking about earlier, it's interesting because I've actually ended up going back to school to learn how to become a businessman. Currently working on an MBA, something I never thought I would do. But as it turns out, being a lawyer does help because you can get the GMAT waived getting into business school if you have a JD and you're licensed. So it's worked out in my favor in that sense.
I didn't know that. Maybe I'll go back.
You know?
Yeah.
No, I'm too old for that, but
Never too old. You're never too old. That's the great thing.
well, you know, you can tell I'm older than he is, but it's the white hair.
Yeah, no, the other thing that's really fun, at least for me in terms of practicing, is today as a solo, the field is really leveled out because there's so much technology available, and that changes a lot and can be very scary. But with some use of technology, you can do as much work as some of the big firms. You'll know your cases as well, if not better. And you may even be getting more experience in the areas that you want to get good at. So there is a lot of things that make being a solo fun or a small firm practitioner fun, and there's a lot of advantages today. You don't have to wait 2 years to get a new computer or to get a new computer program. You can go out and say, I want to get something today, and it can impact your practice meaningfully. Plus, there are so many resources available to help you in your practice. There are freelance lawyers, there's companies that offer freelance lawyers, there are freelance virtual assistants, there are virtual assistants you can find on your own. So the ways and means of practicing have changed a lot, and it makes being a solo much easier than it used to be.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've been a solo now for a long time. I've been practicing 35 years, and it's my third career. So I've been involved in various kinds of businesses. The thing about being a solo today is that things that we all had to do absolutely on our own 30 years ago can now be done with a program, can now be done remotely. I actually downsized my huge office into a virtual suite where I can get as many spaces as I want on any particular day because in real property I do a lot of visits at the property. And I find that since I didn't have a lot of clients coming to my office, I didn't need the office. What can I do? Now you can have your conferences on the computer. You can do phone conferences instantaneously with multiple people. There are so many things you can do now without having to have a lot of overhead that it makes a lot of things possible that were not possible years ago. So it's a very exciting time to be a solo or small firm practitioner.
You know, I'll say that it's interesting, 2 points. When I first got started, I ended up literally Googling, how do you start your own law practice?
But you didn't read my book?
Well,
Sorry.
It hasn't been written yet.
right. Well, and we didn't know each other at this point.
Well, that's true.
So,
Got to work on your SEO for that book.
All right, all right.
so I literally Googled, how do you open your own practice? And one of the best pieces of advice I got from one of these books, one of these little thin, little 30-page books with a lot of pictures in them, you know.
It's my speed, too.
Right. And the book literally said, get an office that's convenient to your clients, not to you. And in this day and age, that was virtual. So I've never had a physical brick and mortar office for the most part. It's basically been, you know, virtual or online. The other thing that I did, the other piece of advice I got from that same book was meet with 5 lawyers and get names of another 5 lawyers from those lawyers that they respect. And I did that. So I met with probably about 60 lawyers within a 2-month, 3-month period. I got so many nuggets of information from that and probably saved a lot of headache and heartache from it too. And it saved a lot of time and a lot of effort, and took a lot of information from that and helped me build my practice.
So basically what we're saying is this is a great time to be a solo, whether you're going into it as a new lawyer, as a young lawyer, or actually whether you're coming into it as a 2nd, 3rd, or 10th career. Because there are lots of things you can do. It enables you to make a lot of choices for yourself, okay? You have to pick up the baggage that comes with that, meaning you will have to do a lot of things that you wouldn't do at a larger firm, but that's the choice you make. And that's what this is all about, making choices that work for your lifestyle.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.